Women, fashion, and glamour are now becoming synonymous in the modern era. Fashion is nothing but a representation of society itself. It is like a mirror that reflects time. It is an expression of your inner self. It reflects who you are and what you feel at the moment. To quote Coco Chanel, fashion is not something that exists in dresses only. Fashion is in the sky, in the street. Fashion has to do with ideas, the way we live, and what is happening. Fashion is unpredictable and ever evolving. While a major section of society reduced the entire concept of modeling into a mere extension of a pretty face and stunning body, supermodels have gone a step ahead and created a lifestyle brand that many women and men look up to. More women are coming forward and breaking the conventional codes, urging the society to accept each other's individual differences. Things are changing slowly in the sector that has long described a narrow version of beauty. The coronavirus pandemic has sweeping repercussions on all sectors of the economy. However, the sectors that are extremely hard hit are the ones that come under the category of non-essentials. Design, apparel, and fashion industries across the world are grappling with tough challenges as the consumption patterns are slowly shifting. Today, we would be talking about fashion, the impact of COVID-19 on the fashion industry, myths about the modeling industry, and much more. Hello everyone, you are listening to the Socially Desi Show, the podcast that motivates you to live, create, and inspire. If this is your first time here, welcome. On our show, we discuss tips and strategies with our guest speakers on how to tackle problems related to personal growth, mental health, relationships, entrepreneurship, and health and fitness. So hit that subscribe button and go check out our website at sociallydesi.com for more of such content. Today, I'm joined by the beautiful Sonalika Sahay. She is a supermodel and entrepreneur from Delhi. Hello, Sonalika. Welcome to the show.
Hello, Anurag. Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Good morning, Sonalika. It's a great pleasure to be hosting you on the show today. And to our audience who are not aware about your journey into the fashion world, why don't you tell ourselves and to the whole audience, what was your journey like when you entered the fashion industry?
Well, I entered fashion industry quite a while back. It's been around 13, 14 years that I've been doing this. Um, my experience in the industry has been actually very, very phenomenal. It's very um, educative. It's been
Mm-hmm.
extremely enriching, I would say. It was much more than what I had expected it to be. I started when I'd started, obviously, I started with an agency, which was Elite Model Management, which was, I think, one of the best decisions of my life because at that point, I guess in India, the fashion industry was so perforated and spread out at that point in time. It didn't have a proper structure, I think.
Hmm.
So having a good representation in terms of a good manager, people, sending you for the right kind of jobs, it was extremely essential because when you're new, you don't know what jobs to pick and what not to do. So that helped me quite a bit. And thereon, it was much easier because as I grew in the industry, work kept coming in. And then I kind of figured out how to filter out the right kind of work. And it's been extremely good, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, it's really essential for anyone who's just starting off to have a good mentor and somebody to collaborate with who understands the industry better, right? I mean, so unless and until you have somebody to look forward to and have the right kind of gigs for your modeling career, I believe a lot of people they get lost in the whole process of defining their own style or maybe understanding the industry. So the first gig in every model's life is really phenomenal and magical. So what was your first gig as a model?
Well, yeah, that's exactly the thing. If you have a mentor, they kind of actually make sure that they launch you properly, and that makes a lot of difference. And also, they handhold through you through the process of, like at least the first couple of years, it becomes easier if you have somebody who guides you through this.
Hmm.
My first show in India and the first shoot was for Tarun Tailiani, and
Okay.
that was quite a big one because I think that time it was Lakme Fashion Week, and it was one of the biggest fashion events in the country. So it was a
Mm-hmm.
good launch, and all thanks to the managers that they managed to, put me through for this job. But yeah, after that, in general, what I actually felt was in terms of shoots and coordination and travel. When you're a really young new person, if you don't have guidance in the industry, you get lost a little bit. You probably don't know where to who to reach out to, and if nowadays we have a lot of really good agencies around. It's becoming a norm, so all these new girls, if they're not attached with a good agency or a modeling school, they don't really get any jobs. So it's now pretty normal to have an agency. At that point in time, I think I was the only one who had an agency, so it was a new concept for everybody. But yeah, it kind of really helped, and because of the success of the few of us, I think it kind of got traction, and more people started moving in that direction.
And what was your learning from that gig that you did with Tarun?
The thing is that I actually was working in Singapore as well before I worked in India.
Hmm.
So I was comfortable on the ramp and I had done some shows. It was kind of, it was not something very new for me. Plus, we had some training as well. When the agency sends you out, we had a lot of training. But when I saw the kind of the audience, it was really one of the biggest audience I had ever walked in front of. So it did make me very nervous. I must say. The thing is that even till date, I feel, it's just whatever people might think that it was. She's been there for such a long time. It must come very naturally to her. It still gives me butterflies in my stomach when I actually get on before I get on a ramp, and I think it's very normal to have a little stage fear because I guess till the time you have that, you'll not be able to perform proper. I think.
True, true that. Because, when you have that passion and zeal to do something, you always have those butterflies moving around in your belly and you get nervous around it. But I'm sure, once you're up on the stage, then everything just fades out and you're just focused on, walking that ramp and giving the people a great show.
Yeah, I mean, once I'm there and the lights are in front of me and the music is there or whatever, it obviously, I adapt to the mood of the show immediately. But yeah, but for my first show, I still do remember that I was pretty nervous. I do remember. I kind of, and we do have to remember choreography if you understand
Hmm.
that. When a model gets on the
Yeah.
stage, we actually have to follow a certain kind of a choreography. And if you don't remember that, then, the show kind of looks a little odd. So your brain has to be functioning. So if you're too nervous, you tend to forget what you have to do and it kind of completely spoils the show. But thankfully, I did not. Thankfully, I remembered what I had to do. So it was okay. It was a great show. That was our own.
Perfect, perfect. And what sort of a music or vibes gets you going? Like you said, your brain needs to kickstart when you're up on the stage and you need to remember your choreography. So, what sort of music are you into, and what sets the mood for you?
Um, Music wise, I guess, most of the time the shows have these really nice, peppy music. I mean, sometimes we do have really boring music as well, but mostly it's quite nice. So I like I mean, it depends on what kind of show I'm walking for. If it's like an Indian, then
Hmm.
something nice and instrumental also works really beautifully. But most of the time, if it's really nice and peppy, and if it's like a really happy show, so to say, then the music makes a lot of difference in a show. Though it can bring a show up or completely bring it down. So it's one of the most important aspects of the show. And in fact, we do have a lot of really talented music people who are creating music for the show. They don't really
Hmm.
pick anything from the internet and just play it. Most of the time, they create something new for the show. And there are a lot of these guys, Tapan, Jayant. These guys actually mix music for us, and they're really fantastic. They're phenomenal. These young boys. They give us some fabulous music on ramp.
Right. I mean, yes, of course, music is like the essential, like the backbone of the complete show. So, unless you're feeling it and the whole designs and the way you choreograph the whole show, unless it's fitting and jamming with the music that's on, it gets very, I don't know, it gets really boring on stage, right? I mean, in fact, for you as well.
Yes, definitely. But I only have to kind of go through that music for the 3-4 minutes that I'll probably be there. But the audience has to actually go through it for almost half an hour. So I guess music is very essential to the show, and
Hmm.
especially at fashion weeks or other places where there's back to back shows and everything. It everyone has to make sure that their show is different from the other show in terms of music, lighting, and it's quite a challenge because you're doing like some 25 shows, 30 shows in 5 days. So every show has to look different, every designer wants something unique. So it is a challenge to really put a show together in that sense, with music, lighting, choreography, everything along with the clothes.
True that, yeah. And who are your favorite designers and brands that you have worked with?
Um, well, the India is really, I must say, full of really talented people. Off late,
Hmm.
especially, I have seen some of these new designers have been very, very extremely good and talented. There is, a couple of new names that has come up, and they've transformed the way people are dressing now. For instance, Raw Mango, they do Indian clothes, but they do such beautiful Indian clothes. It's really nice and easy to wear, and it's fantastic. Then there is, there is Ragini. There's a lot of people who are doing really very,
Hmm.
very beautiful, sustainable, nice clothes, and it's fabulous to work with these kind of guys. There is also one of my favorite, which is Torani, some of the new names. But, out of the ones who are really the legends of the industry, so to say, the giants would be Suneet Verma is one of my favorites. Then there is also
Hmm.
Gaurav Gupta, and his style is very different. He makes these really beautiful gowns, and it sits so nicely. Gaurav's the best thing about Gaurav Gupta's outfit I like is that he just makes it, for the person. It's just so beautifully sits on the body that it's just one zipper and it's done.
Yeah.
So
Hmm.
it's just really the ease of wearing, and also it looks so perfectly finished on the ramp. So these guys are obviously very, very talented, and they are one of my favorites.
Every model has their favorite moments also in the career. So far in your career, what has been the favorite moment for you or the best moment for you?
Um, well, there are quite a few, but I mean, I really, in terms of when I have been acknowledged for my work, so to say, initially I never thought very big of it, of getting any award or anything. I thought, yeah, I mean, no big deal. But then when I actually started getting some awards, I actually felt that I did something right. I mean,
Hmm.
it's kind of an approval by the audience that says that okay, you did something right. So I do remember the first time when I did get my F awards for fashion. I As a newcomer I got it, and it felt really great. So that time was one of the high points of my life. I was declared. I was selected the face of Dior at that point in time. Dior watches was launching in India, and with them I
Wow.
had a very beautiful experience of travel and going to new places across the country, meeting new people wherever they had. Dior had a presence. They flew me down everywhere, and we had it was a really different experience endorsing that brand. And thereafter, I mean, off late, if you really ask me, there was this award that I got. It's called the Fit and Fabulous, and I think that name really
Hmm.
clicks very well with me because it is. The fitness bit is, quite nice to get known for. So yeah, Fit and Fabulous is by the thing was a recent award that I got, so that was quite nice. So yeah, the moments when I have been acknowledged as a good model has been very good for me. Like I do cherish those moments.
Yeah, I mean, fitness, of course, is like a synonym to you because we see your Instagram page, and like people who are listening to us, you can definitely check out Sonalika Sahay on Instagram. And I mean, apart from having a fabulous figure, she is also a fitness enthusiast, and she does a lot of. You have shared a few pictures and videos with your friends and your other colleagues around fitness. So I believe that fitness is like an essential part of what you do in your daily life.
Um, Yeah, fitness is has always been a part of my life, frankly. Even before, I think when I was not a model, I was still, quite conscious about my fitness. But yeah, off late, I've been much more, like obviously, quarantine has given me so much time to really work on my fitness. So
Hmm.
that has been one of the reasons I've been working out way more. But yeah, I do feel that my fitness is much better now than what it was in my earlier years, because I do take it very seriously now in terms of diet, everything else, workout, timing, everything.
Yeah, and talking about this whole quarantine and the COVID situation, it has really impacted the fashion industry across the world. And, we've been talking earlier before the episode. We wanted to understand, what sort of an impact has this whole situation made on women's fashion, especially in India?
Um, COVID, obviously, it has impacted pretty much every industry. It really is something that is there and we don't know for how long. So, that is the bigger reason why every industry is right now struggling, because even if anybody wants to restart something or want to do something, it is difficult to kind of foresee where everything is in terms of business heading in future in the next 6 months or even for a year, maybe. So, yeah, that ways, yes, definitely everything has been impacted. But I see this also as an opportunity. I do see
Hmm.
this as a way of moving forward in life and learning something new. So, what it has done, especially in my industry, is what I've noticed is it has opened a lot of really new channels in with with the help of technology, online reach, etc. And people are now still trying to rebuild their business, like tweak the business module to fit in into the new age sort of a setup, which is about technology, social media reach, online marketing. So everyone's now suddenly, so that I did start a online retail shop a couple of years back, which was called Stylist. And I do remember that at that point in time, my biggest challenge was when I was talking to designers to convince them that why they should be selling online. And whoever few we managed to convince, we were able to generate some sales with a, but it was difficult. It was not that easy as probably it would be right now. But at that point in time, this is what I did feel, that everyone looked at online vertical of sales as a very, unnecessary wastage of time kind of a channel. They're like, who would buy it without looking at it? And now look at where we are. We are in a situation where everyone's now rushing towards getting their presence online, and whoever's not on this, wagon is obviously missing the whole scheme over here. So my point is, now it has actually forced people to think forward and look at an online option now, which has been very, very good, because now everybody is kind of moving forward with technology. So it is a new opportunity for everyone to learn, because I do think that it will stabilize business for everybody, including our work will stabilize. Like for instance, right now we are doing a lot of virtual shows, we are doing a lot of
Hmm.
shoots. So all of that has started, everything with all the social distancing parameters in order. People are being careful, everything is very sanitized. So we are moving forward with whatever we have. And that is the beauty of human being. I think we never sit back and, let it
True.
take us down. We always move forward. So it's a good thing. It's a learning curve.
Yeah, I mean, that's really true. When it comes to businesses, especially like the purists and the traditionalists out there, earlier they didn't realize the impact of social media and online businesses. So they always wanted their brick and mortar business to be there. Like, earlier days, fashion designers would want their, design studios to open up in different cities and they would showcase their collection there. But yeah, I mean, going forward, I believe that a lot of these shows would be going online. Like you see, especially like in the Bollywood industry, most of the movies are now coming up on the OTT platforms directly, right? And that is why, Disney, Hotstar, Netflix, these are huge in India. And Z5 and all, they're also coming up with such good shows right now that a lot of actors and directors, they are now preferring to be on OTT platforms rather than going the traditional way of the silver screen. So similarly, I believe even the fashion industry is going towards that route. And I don't know about 2020, but what's your take on going forward to 2021? Do you see most of the shows now happening, like the Lakme Fashion Week or maybe the other Bombay Fashion Week, would be coming down to online first, or would you still consider them to have the traditional way of doing it offline?
No, for now, everything is going online, and they've already
Hmm.
done that. We are actually shooting right now for even Couture Week, which is going to be launched online very soon, FDCI Couture Week. So yeah, every fashion week is going to, for the moment, go online till the time there actually is a permission for having a proper audience shows. But yeah, I mean, I don't see any fashion week happening at least till next year mid, I would say, even if they
Hmm.
do get a clarity in terms of vaccines and everything by January, February. I think by the time we actually are able to do a proper event, it will be mid-year next year. So yeah, we are missing out on pretty much a whole year in this. But it's not really missing out because everyone is now launching online. As I said, people are
Yeah.
going online, and they are shooting on videos and stills, and editing it and putting it on different platforms as a virtual show. So that is what is the most interesting thing, because right now we are actually doing shows in such a different way, which I've actually never done it before. It is
Hmm.
all in studios now, with really like this, doing the proper sets and everything. But because we have to be brought in one by one, earlier we used to be all called, say, 15 models or 14 models together, and we would rehearse our shows or whatever. Now we cannot do that because, I mean, you have to kind of limit the number of people you expose yourself to. So they're calling us in small batches, they're shooting our videos, and then they're sitting and editing it and making it look like a proper show. So it's quite a challenging task from a designer's point of view and an organizer's point of view. And also for me, it's a very different experience as a model. So I think, I mean, it is quite a interesting way to look at how, people are moving forward in this. And you will see the results very soon, because everyone's now coming up with really nice brand new ideas every day. Even we are sitting and designing new shows and virtual shows, which we want to do now. So it has been an interesting sort of a move forward.
So are you liking the new way of working, or you still miss the old days?
I definitely miss the audience. I definitely miss all the energy of being in that,
Hmm.
in the center of all of that, because, Fashions Week have a very different energy. I do miss that. But yeah, I am guessing, this is going to have a different impact on different people in different ways. As I said, it's now becoming a habit of not actually going out and meeting people. Earlier it used to be a thing that I had to do every day. It was a social obligation at some points, and actually some days you'd want to go out and do and be in that setup. So now, I've kind of adapted to this new way of working and new way of living, and it's quite interesting because now I do get a lot of time for myself at home, which is great.
Yeah, I mean, interesting to, you brought up that point, because even I feel, sometimes that it becomes a social obligation for a lot of the celebs out there, that they have to meet someone or the other every day, right? So, I mean, can you share any experience that you really didn't want to meet, or maybe go out for a meeting, but you had to, and, just turned out to be a very boring day for you? Any
Well,
experience, without naming anyone, but, any
well,
experience that you would like?
yeah, there are many experiences, I would say, of that sort. I mean, as a model, if, say, suppose your friend or a designer or anybody, somebody is doing an event, and then it's kind of important for you to go there and show your support a lot of times. So literally, even if you don't feel like stepping out, you still have to kind of go, because I mean, they need you there to kind of stand by them. So there has been many times when I have finished work and I have a next morning 5 a.m. flight, and I really don't want to go because then it kind of cuts into my sleep time, but I had to go. So I have just picked up and gotten dressed somehow and gone for at least 20 minutes wherever people have called me. So yeah, there has been many cases, because, I mean, when I ask people to come for my events, people do show, they do stand by me. So it's just a favor that you have to return any which way. So it's fine. I mean, sometimes it's okay. But also then the bigger problem was that when I was modeling, the bigger issue became that I was habitually going out also quite a lot.
Yeah.
So it is tiring. So now that what I'm saying is that now that habit is kind of a little out of the window, and it's a great thing because now I kind of focus on myself.
Yeah, and interesting, to talk about habits here, because a lot of people, they think that the fashion industry and the modeling industry, like you see your idols and the famous fashion designers and models out there. People think that they're always partying, right? That they are just partying 24/7, and I believe that's a big myth. I believe there's a lot of discipline that you need to have in your life. Like you said, you don't want to cut down on your sleep, on your rest when you have an early work day. So please tell us about the kind of discipline that a model needs to have in order to maintain their work life balance, so to say.
Well, modeling is actually quite a lot of work. I'd say it's not really that easy as people presume it to be. The toughest job I would say would be finding enough sleep hours to really sleep. As I said, a lot of times you finish your job really late in the night, and our work goes on beyond 12 hours. A lot of times you probably
Hmm.
reach somewhere at work for a rehearsal at 7 in the morning. Sometimes it's even 5 in the morning, and then you're working, finishing a show at 11:30, 12 in the night. So it's literally like a really, really long day. And most of the time, because you have a job the next morning, most of the time I am taking a 5 a.m. flight after finishing my shows at 12:30 in the night. So it's literally like I reach home, I pack, take a shower, and get ready to leave again. So that
Hmm.
way, it's very, I'd say, strenuous, really a little stressful. But in terms of party, yes, as I said, a lot of times when you're doing a show, you are expected to kind of attend the after party as well, which is great because a lot of times even we want to unwind after a long show day, and our friends are there, so it's great that we are catching up. But yeah, you have to kind of that is no what I'm saying is that a lot of designers also party with us late in the night, you know but you would see that the ones who are really disciplined in terms of models and designers, there is no excuse of being late the next morning. If it's a 2 o'clock kind of a party where you're finishing at 1:30, 2 o'clock, and still you have to report at 6 in the morning, you will see the disciplined designers and the models, they will definitely be there right on time. So there is no excuse for being late for work. You can party as much as you like, but make sure that you finish your work or you start your work on time.
Yeah, and that's what sets you apart, right, from the crowd.
Well, yeah, and it's like a compulsory thing. It's not even like something which is acceptable, because timing is something which everybody is very particular about in my industry, frankly, because it's such big groups to handle, because there's a design team, there is a choreography team, production team, this, that, music guys. If somebody is late and because of that one person, the entire team is held up, it's actually very, very wrong. So it is a model's job to be there on time. That's about it.
Hmm. And what about other myths like, having a size zero figure versus like a plus size models, right? So what's your take on that myth?
Um, Well, size zero is, I don't even know what size that is because I heard this term so many times and I don't know. Size zero means you're air. You probably don't exist. Size six or size eight is what normally a model is over here in India. UK six or UK eight is what I've normally noticed is everyone's size here. But yeah, I mean, this whole size zero term that has been coined is actually, I think, coined just to kind of catch eyeballs, maybe. So,
Hmm.
I mean, fitness being a very integral part of my industry, I'd say, because we do represent, certain in terms of glamour and everything. We showcase a garment. It has to look right on us. It has to look good. So yes, I do feel that being a certain figure and shape is very important. It is a part of the job to be fit. But if you're talking about plus sizes these days, there has been a new drive where everybody is kind of bringing in plus size models, and even on the ramps at fashion weeks, if you'll see, in our pools now they have included plus size models. So it is quite nice to see that every kind of body shape has been brought in. We also had acid attack victims one time to
Yeah.
walk with us. So, and they were in the pool. I'm not talking about it was a gimmicky thing or something that they were just brought in to get media attention, or for some attachment or anything, any kind of endorsement. They were actually brought in as pool models, which was great because they were with us during fittings all through the 5 days. They were walking every show with us all through the 5 days. So it was great to have different kind of models to be brought in. It kind of really gives a little reality picture to the industry, which is normally taken to be very, it's a very vain industry, probably very awestruck by glamour and beauty. So it gives a little real picture to the whole industry.
Yeah, and it also ties up with the kind of brand perception that the designer wants to have for his new collection, I believe. Because a lot of times there are designers who would create their designs for a certain, like you said, yeah, you need to fit into those drapes properly, to the proper fit. So sometimes having those kind of plus size models to give like a more genuine appeal to the kind of designs that they are putting out, I believe that's really essential. And the other side of the coin is talking about, having a fair model versus having like a dark complexion model. So this is also like a big myth in the modeling industry that used to go around that, like everyone in India, especially, you will see fair models on every e-commerce site and on every Instagram page. How do you take on that? What is it that is like lacking behind in the industry and needs to change?
Well, skin color has been a topic of discussion for the longest time, especially in our industry. I don't think there is any such kind of skin color wise, fair or dark sort of filtering out that happens, because on the ramp you'll see a lot of different kind of skin shades that is there, and but in terms of shoots, I do feel. I mean, I feel it the other way around, and I do think for a valid reason, I feel that the girls who have a darker complexion are doing much better job in terms of fashion shoots. So they do get more jobs, because these days a lot of brands across internationally and in India, they're looking at more brown skin to represent their brand. They don't really want a white skin. It doesn't sit with their concept of, like an Indian brand representation. If you'll see internationally also, Mac, Bobby Brown, everyone's taking Asian models these
Hmm.
days. A lot of girls like are from India with brown skin, Bhumika and everyone, they're doing great campaigns out of India. Deepti, Bhumika, a lot of these girls are really doing, one of the biggest campaigns across internationally. So yeah, I do feel that, having a darker skin tone makes you look really good in pictures. I actually have personally seen the girls who are duskier, they shoot so beautifully. But yeah, having said that, then there are even a lot of fair girls like, us, who are doing great jobs. So there is no really discrimination in terms of skin
Hmm.
color. But yes, I will accept that brands have certain, or designers do have certain kind of a picture in mind with which they work, and if it fits the requirement to have a darker skin or a lighter skin, they go by that, frankly. So certain brands will only take dark skin girls, and certain brands will work with all kind of skin colors. So that is the way it works in my industry.
Yeah, so what I understand is this has more to do with the kind of requirement that a particular brand or a designer has rather than just choosing between a fairer or a darker complexion, right?
Yes, definitely. I mean, there's no such thing as only fair skin girls are getting endorsements and shoots, because that's not true at all. A lot of these darker skin tone girls do way more work than what any fair skin girls would do, because they're just fantastic in front of the camera.
Yeah, because like I've seen some sort of a hypocrisy here where on the e-commerce sites you will see all fair skins, and when you go to their stores and also so the banners on the store and all, you'll see the brown skins. So like there are
Well,
some.
there is a reason for it, which I don't want to really state it, but yeah, I mean, there is a reason. It's called budgets. So, depends on these online portals. If they do have the budget to afford a really nice, girl from this thing, then they would bring in. But mostly, it's just easier and cheaper for them to get somebody who, from agencies where they don't charge them much. So probably that's the reason why you see online different kind of models.
Yeah, that's there, and I'm sure all these kind of myths and misconceptions that are there, they're slowly fading out from our industry, but it used to be there, and we hope that these changes in the future. And let's talk about your own venture. How long have you started your own venture, and what was the inspiration behind starting it?
Well, I have worked on this online retail portal, which I said, stylers.com. I was
Hmm.
working on it that around 5 years, 6 years back is when we had started that. Then we moved it on to Maya Shops now, which I do as a pop up exhibition, which we are now also launching another retail portal with it. So that is kind of my baby, and I'm working very hard on it. So that is one, but we also are working on a sort of a. So as I said, this coronavirus has given a lot of times for all of us to sit back and kind of think forward to do new things in life. So we are also launching a new lifestyle sort of a YouTube channel very soon.
Hmm.
That is also in the making. And yeah, so a lot of things are in the offing. Let's just see how it moves. I'm also looking at setting up a new, kind of an event which we are planning. But let's see if it works out. It's slow right now because of COVID. But yeah, in time, we'll probably see a lot of things coming up.
And what were the initial challenges as an entrepreneur, coming from a fashion background, you're doing your modeling as well, and now, aside you also have Maya. So what were the initial challenges when you thought of this whole idea and now you're trying to execute it?
Well, the challenge primarily becomes for me is when the work starts picking up, and if I have to travel, I mean, I have to literally rely on working sort of on online from wherever I am. It kind of gets a little um, like stressful for me in the sense that if I have my work going on, modeling work going on, and then have to stay still pay attention to everything that is happening back here, and there's always a crisis situation in office somehow or the other. Every day there's something. So yeah, so that is the only challenge. I have to kind of make sure that I'm always online and I'm always available no matter where I am or what I'm doing. And if I do cut down on my travel, it's easier for me to run a business more smoothly. So I have to kind of balance it out between both the jobs because I it's not easy to do two, three jobs together. But yeah, if you have a good team at office and it kind of they manage it pretty well, then it's kind of okay. I can manage.
Yeah, it's true. And I believe that with this whole COVID situation, one good thing that has come out, it has actually given a global perspective to each and every local brand. Like for example, I'll tell you, like a brand in Kanpur, let's say, never thought that they can reach out to somebody living in Brooklyn. Right. So I have like seen people who have their brands, they have their products, which now, because of this whole COVID situation, they could think of marketing it to the US and to the other parts of the world. Like earlier, people were so fixated with the idea of selling it local that they never thought that, oh, even I can expand to different parts of the country or to the world. So I believe that that has given a good perspective to people to now actually move out of their houses and look at people, who can be potential customers across the world.
Yeah, and it's not just true for smaller vendors, say in Kanpur and other smaller cities, it's also true for bigger designers here. They never saw a value add of kind of promoting their products online through their websites and different channels internationally. But now that is the only market that's working for them because India, for whatever reason, is not really buying so much in terms of the buying. This thing of India is kind of reduced. So reaching out to a bigger audience internationally is actually beneficial for every brand. And earlier, also, some of the smaller brands, you'll be surprised, they were more enterprising. There were brands from Surat and Gujarat who absolutely went all out to kind of, make sure that their presence online is visible. So now that is kind of, even bigger designers are realizing now that market is bigger if you tap the international market.
True, true. And before we wrap up this show, Sonalika, I would like you to share a few tips and some ideas with upcoming and modeling aspirants out there who look at you as a role model and they want to get into the industry. What sort of tips would you like to give them?
Well, a lot of young girls and boys always ask me about how to become a model. I, for me, as I said earlier, I always feel it's good to attach yourself with an agency, and it's always good if you can get some kind of a grooming lesson before you come in, because even in our industry, it's becoming so competitive now. There's no space for anyone who's not performing well, so you have to make sure that you're doing it confidently and nicely. And if you do get a little training, what happens is when you're doing your first show, if you're in front of an audience, then they will notice you if you're doing it nicely, and you will get more jobs. So it's as simple as that. But I also feel that these newer models, they also come with sometimes with the perception, as we discussed earlier, that it's all just glamour and nothing else. I guess they need to keep this in mind, that it's important to work very, very hard and come into this industry understanding that it's a very professional industry. Everyone over here is delivering their 100%. So if they will not perform proper, they will be left out and they will not get any job. So they should come with a very level head to work hard and to actually succeed, and that's it. It's going to be all good for them.
And what's that one advice you would give your younger self, if you look back 15 years and you meet your younger self, what would be that one advice you would give before beginning your career?
A lot, lots and lots of things, isn't it the case? Whenever you kind of, as you grow in life, you always realize, oh my God, why didn't I do this way, So I have made my mistakes and I've learned my lesson the hard way, because there's a lot of things that I have kind of, and a lot of times, surprisingly, you'll be surprised, Anurag, that my parents did say don't do it, and I still went ahead and did it, and I have burnt my finger really badly on it. So yeah, there has been things. So I would like to my younger self, I definitely would try and say that maybe have I don't know. Don't trust people blindly, probably. That's what I'd say.
Cool. All right. Sonalika, thank you again for being on the show. It was a pleasure speaking with you, and I hope to everyone listening out there, you must have gained a lot of insights and a lot of tips. And we try to burst a lot of myths also for you in the fashion and the modeling industry. So, with that, Sonalika, thank you again for being on the show today.
Thank you, Anurag. It was fantastic being here. Thank you so much.
So that wraps it up for today, folks. If you liked the episode, give it a big thumbs up, share it with your friends, and let's go viral. Remember, our weekly podcast features episodes on personal growth, mental health, relationships, business and entrepreneurship, and health and fitness. We would love to have Sonalika on our show again in the future to discuss more about the magical world of fashion and modeling. So if you haven't yet done so, hit that subscribe button and go check out our website at sociallydesi.com. And as always, before I sign off, remember, life is black and white and everything in between.